Time is the most precious currency we possess. Unlike money, you cannot earn it back once it is spent. Once today is gone, it will never return. Therefore, the question is not whether we have time. It is how we choose to use the time given to us. In life, there are three essential aspects that often pull us in different directions: play, studies, and family. If we focus too much on only one, the others begin to suffer. But if we learn balance, then time becomes our ally, not our enemy. Play is important. It refreshes the mind, it gives the heart joy, and it allows creativity to bloom. But play without limits becomes distraction. Studies are vital. They sharpen the mind, give discipline, and open the doors to opportunities. Yet studies without breaks turn into stress, and knowledge without joy becomes a burden. And family is the ground we stand on. It gives us love, values, and belonging. But often, in chasing success, we forget to spend time with those who gave us the strength to chase it in the first place. Balance does not mean dividing time into equal pieces. It means giving each part of life the time it deserves at the right moment. To achieve this balance, you must learn presence. When you study, be fully in your studies. When you play, play with full energy. And when you are with family, be completely there without distraction. Time teaches us that the present moment is the only real moment. Respect it, and you will never regret how you lived. When we speak about time, we must understand that it is unlike any other resource in this life. Wealth can be earned, lost, and earned again. Friendships can fade and new ones may blossom. Even health in many cases can be repaired if we give our body rest and care. But time is the one element that never returns once it has slipped from your hands. Every sunrise that greets you is unique. Every moment that passes is a seed either planted with purpose or scattered carelessly into the wind. And once it is gone, you cannot call it back. This is why the wise across generations have always reminded us: treasure time, for it is not infinite. It may appear as though life stretches endlessly in front of us, but in truth, the years are a fragile collection of days, and the days are made up of fleeting hours. To understand the value of time is to recognize the sacredness of every breath, every second that passes in silence, and every choice you make. The danger lies in how easily we waste it. When you are young, time feels abundant, hours of play seem endless, and days of study often feel like a burden that never finishes. You might tell yourself, tomorrow I will focus, tomorrow I will begin, but tomorrow is a promise never guaranteed. Procrastination is the quiet thief of life. It does not take away entire years at once, but steals a few moments here, a few hours there, until you suddenly realize that the days have become weeks, the weeks months, and the months years. And in those lost years, opportunities have vanished. The dream you once held has dissolved, not because you lack talent or the right conditions, but because you allowed time to slip away unguarded. This is why the understanding that time is irreversible is not just philosophy, it is a call to wakefulness, a reminder that what you choose today determines who you become tomorrow. But to respect time does not mean to rush, or to live in constant anxiety, fearing that every second not spent in productivity is wasted. This is a misunderstanding. Respecting time means learning to live with awareness. It means becoming conscious of where your attention flows. Ask yourself, when I am studying, am I fully absorbed in the knowledge I seek, or am I allowing my mind to wander? When I am playing, do I truly immerse myself in joy, or am I half present thinking about something else? When I sit with my family, do I give them my full heart, or do I let distractions steal me away? Time is not just about the ticking of a clock, it is about the depth of your presence. A single hour lived with focus and awareness can hold more value than 10 hours lived absent-mindedly. When you live consciously, you stretch the quality of time, even though you cannot stretch its quantity. This is why monks, philosophers, and great teachers of every tradition speak of mindfulness. To be mindful is to stand guard at the gates of your time. It is to realize that every choice is an investment, and the currency is your limited hours. If you choose to spend them on complaints, they yield nothing. If you spend them on distractions without measure, they leave you empty. But if you invest your time in growth, in learning, in nurturing relationships, in cultivating health, in moments of laughter and gratitude, then the return is immeasurable. The greatest tragedy is not death. It is reaching the end of life and realizing you never truly lived because you treated time as though it were endless. So when I say that time is irreversible, I am not pointing toward fear, I am pointing toward clarity. Once you awaken to this truth, you no longer take hours for granted. You no longer say someday I will. Instead you act today, you live today, you love today, and that in itself becomes the highest form of wisdom. Play is not the opposite of discipline, it is the companion of balance. Many people grow up hearing that play is wasted time, that it is something to be set aside in the pursuit of seriousness, achievement, and responsibilities. But this is a misunderstanding of the human spirit. Play is not an escape from life. It is a return to life. It is the spark that reignites our creativity, the laughter that loosens the grip of stress, and the energy that refreshes the body and mind after long hours of effort. When a child plays, they are not just amusing themselves, they are learning, exploring, and discovering. And when an adult allows themselves the space for play, whether in the form of sports, hobbies, or joyful activities, they are reconnecting to a state of openness and flow. Without play, the mind becomes rigid, the heart becomes heavy, and life begins to feel like an endless list of duties. Play is not indulgence, it is nourishment. However, just as food that nourishes the body can turn into poison when consumed without moderation, play too can become harmful when it loses its balance. In our modern world, distractions are everywhere. Games, entertainment, endless scrolling. These are forms of play that can easily extend beyond their purpose. Instead of refreshing the mind, they begin to consume the mind. Hours vanish into screens, and days dissolve into leisure without purpose. This is the danger of play without limits. It turns into avoidance. Instead of confronting challenges, people drown themselves in distractions. Instead of using play as a source of renewal, they use it to escape the responsibilities that ultimately give life meaning. What was once a source of joy then transforms into a thief of time. True play strengthens us, false play weakens us. The difference lies in how conscious we are when engaging with it. To understand the value of play, we must look at it like a cycle of breathing. Just as you cannot inhale forever, neither can you only exhale. The body survives because of the rhythm between the two. Work and play are like this rhythm. One without the other is imbalance. If you only work, you suffocate under pressure and exhaustion. If you only play, you lose direction, discipline, and the strength to face reality. The wisdom lies in learning when to inhale and when to exhale, when to play and when to study, when to rest and when to push forward. And the key to this balance is awareness. Awareness tells you when your play has given you energy, and awareness also warns you when your play is stealing it. The more mindful you are, the clearer you can sense this shift. In this way, play becomes not just an activity but a teacher. It shows you the boundaries of joy, discipline, and moderation. And so, when we approach play with wisdom, it becomes more than a pastime, it becomes a tool for growth. Consider the artist who plays with colors on a canvas, the musician who plays with melodies, or the child who plays with imagination. In these moments of play, creativity is born, new ideas emerge, and the mind becomes free to explore beyond its usual limits. Even in martial arts, play is essential. Training can be strict and disciplined, but sparring, movement, and flow often take on the nature of play, where curiosity and experimentation lead to mastery. This is why play should never be dismissed as childish or unimportant. It is one of the purest ways the human spirit expresses itself. But the wisdom remains: play must serve life, not dominate it. It must uplift you, not enslave you. When play is held within limits, it becomes a source of energy that empowers studies, strengthens family bonds, and refreshes the soul. When those limits are ignored, it becomes the very thing that drains the time you cannot get back. To study is not merely to collect information, it is to cultivate the mind in the same way a gardener cultivates soil. Knowledge is the water that nourishes growth, and discipline is the sunlight that keeps it alive. Without study, the mind remains dormant, like a field that has never been planted. Through study, we learn not only facts, but also how to think, how to question, how to recognize patterns in life. Studies are the training ground where character is built, where patience is exercised, and where effort turns into wisdom. A student does not simply learn mathematics or literature. They are in truth learning how to focus, how to endure, how to sharpen the tools of the intellect. Without this training, the ability to face life's challenges weakens. Studies are essential because they prepare us not only for exams but for the much larger examination called life. Yet, like any form of training, studies can become burdensome when misunderstood. Many see studying as an obligation, a punishment, something heavy that must be endured until freedom is earned. But in reality, study is a privilege. It is the opportunity to access the accumulated wisdom of generations before us. However, when pressure grows too heavy, when the pursuit of grades overshadows the pursuit of understanding, studies begin to lose their meaning. Instead of shaping the mind, they start to suffocate it. Endless hours of memorization without reflection, late nights without rest, competition without compassion. These are signs that study has shifted from being a tool of growth to a source of stress. Just as overtraining can damage the body, overstudying without balance can damage the spirit. Knowledge gained in such a state is shallow, and the joy of learning disappears. True study is not about how many hours you spend with books open before you. It is about how deeply you allow the knowledge to shape your way of seeing the world. If you read only to pass a test, your learning dies when the exam ends. But if you read with curiosity, if you seek to understand how knowledge connects to life, then the learning becomes alive within you. A student of wisdom sees studies not as a cage, but as a doorway. They know that every subject, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to strengthen patience and discipline. And they know that studying with awareness creates harmony, while studying with fear creates imbalance. The key is not to drown yourself in studies, but to learn how to swim in them, how to engage deeply, then let go, then return again with clarity. Balance here does not mean avoiding effort, it means channeling effort wisely. Therefore, studies should be seen as a path of cultivation. To study with a healthy rhythm is to develop resilience, to sharpen focus and to expand horizons. But to let studies dominate every hour, to allow them to crush play and family time, is to misunderstand their role in life. Knowledge without joy becomes heavy. Knowledge with joy becomes transformative. The essence of study is not to fill the mind but to illuminate it, not to burden the heart but to strengthen it. In this way, studies become not only essential for success in the world but essential for the growth of one's inner self. For when the mind is sharpened and the spirit balanced, then every challenge in life can be faced with clarity and courage. Family is the soil from which our roots grow. Before we speak our first words, before we take our first steps into the wider world, it is family that holds us, teaches us, and shapes the first vision of life we carry. In the arms of family, we learn what love means. Not love as a concept, but love as warmth, as sacrifice, as care that asks for nothing in return. This is why family is not simply a group of people living under the same roof. It is the foundation that gives us identity, security, and belonging. Without this foundation, no matter how much success we build, there is an emptiness that lingers. A house without a foundation may look strong from the outside, but it crumbles in time. In the same way, a life without family ties may shine for a moment, but it cannot endure storms. Family is not perfect, but it is essential. It is the ground on which we stand. In the pursuit of ambition and personal goals, it is easy to forget this truth. Many young people feel the urge to break free, to carve their own path, to prove themselves in studies, careers, and achievements. This is natural, but the danger arises when success becomes more important than the people who made success possible. Parents grow older while we are busy chasing dreams. Siblings drift apart while we are occupied with deadlines. Precious moments slip away because we believe there will always be more time. But time, as we know, does not wait. The regret of neglecting family is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry, for no amount of wealth or recognition can replace the warmth of a father's guidance, a mother's sacrifice, or the laughter shared around the dinner table. To remember family is to remember where we came from and who we truly are. Family also teaches us values that no textbook can offer. In family we learn patience when disagreements arise, forgiveness when mistakes are made, and loyalty when difficulties come. These lessons are not written on pages. They are lived in the daily interactions of care and conflict, of support and sacrifice. Family life is not always easy. It comes with challenges, with misunderstandings, and with moments of pain. Yet it is through these very experiences that resilience and compassion are born. If life is a school, then family is the first classroom, and every moment within it is an opportunity to grow in wisdom. A person who values family carries strength into the world, because they know they are never walking alone. Behind every step, there is the invisible support of those who love them unconditionally. And so, when we speak of balance, family time is not something optional, it is vital. To dedicate time to family is not to waste time, it is to invest in the very roots that nourish you. The hours spent with loved ones may not produce certificates or trophies, but they produce something far more valuable: connection, meaning, and love that sustains you through every trial. When you sit with family, sit with full presence, put away distractions, listen deeply, and give the gift of your attention. These are the moments that create memories, and memories are the treasures that remain when all else fades. A successful life without family connection is like a tree that grows tall but bears no fruit. True balance is found when studies sharpen your mind, play refreshes your spirit, and family anchors your heart. Balance is not about dividing life into equal parts. It is about entering each part with full awareness. Many people misunderstand balance as a perfect distribution of time. 1 hour for studies, 1 hour for play, 1 hour for family, 1 hour for rest. But life does not function in such rigid compartments. Life flows. Some days will demand more study, other days more rest, some moments more joy, and others deeper reflection. Balance is not found in the clock, it is found in presence. To be fully where you are, doing one thing with your whole being, is balance. When you study, immerse yourself completely, so that knowledge enters not just the memory but the heart. When you play, give yourself fully to the joy of the moment, without guilt or distraction. When you are with family, let the world outside pause and allow love to occupy the space entirely. This is the art of presence, and it is the true meaning of balance. The struggle arises when the mind is never where the body is. A student may sit at a desk with books open, but the mind is wandering into thoughts of games or worries. A person may sit with family at the dinner table, but their attention is lost in a screen or unfinished work. In such moments, even though time is being spent, it is not being lived. Presence is what turns ordinary time into meaningful time. 1 hour of focused study is more valuable than 5 hours of distracted reading. 10 minutes of heartfelt conversation with family is richer than an entire evening spent together while the mind is elsewhere. Presence is the multiplier of time. It deepens every moment and extracts its full value. Without presence, balance cannot exist, because balance is not about how long you give, but how deeply you give. To cultivate presence requires discipline, because the mind is restless by nature. It is constantly pulled into the past by regret or into the future by worry. Very rarely does it remain in the now. But balance exists only in the now. You cannot play yesterday, you cannot study tomorrow, and you cannot embrace your family in some distant future. You can only do it now. This is why training the mind to return to the present is one of the most important practices of life. Some use meditation, some use breath, some simply pause and observe. The method is not as important as the result. The result is stillness in the middle of movement, clarity in the middle of noise. When the mind learns to be here, each task becomes lighter, each joy deeper, each relationship stronger. Presence is the foundation upon which balance is built. Balance is not about perfection but harmony. It is not about doing everything equally, but doing everything fully. A balanced life does not mean you never stumble. It means you return to presence again and again. When you feel overwhelmed with studies, step back and breathe. Return to the now. When play begins to consume too much time, awaken your awareness, return to the now. When family moments slip away unnoticed, open your eyes, return to the now. Balance is the art of remembering this simple truth. The present moment is the only place where life truly exists. If you can master presence, you can master balance. And if you can master balance, you can master time itself. So when we look at time, we must see it not as an enemy that runs away from us, but as a companion that walks with us. Every sunrise is an invitation, every hour is an opportunity, and every moment is a choice. To waste time is to waste life. But to live with presence, to give balance to play, studies and family, is to honor the gift that has been placed into our hands. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be awake. Awake when you study, awake when you play, awake when you sit with family. For in wakefulness, you find balance, and in balance you discover harmony, and in harmony you begin to live not just longer days but deeper ones. When the last breath comes, it is not the number of hours you lived that will matter. It is the quality of the hours. Did you give yourself to them? Did you live them with awareness, with love, with gratitude? Time will not return, but the way you choose to live, it will echo far beyond you. So respect your time, cherish your balance, and above all be present, because the moment you are living now, this very breath, is already life itself.